How's it going, guys? Welcome back to today's video. Hello and welcome to everyone that's new and to everyone that's been here a while. Thank you for tuning in. As you can see, car in the garden, car content. So I've got a couple of things I need to do. First off, I'm going to get these and I'm going to raise the coilovers all around. No, it's not my age, before anyone says anything. It's just that I want to fit wheel spaces at some point, and with the way that the car's lowered at the moment, I'm not going to be able to do that because it's just going to catch the arches and make them even worse. So yeah, raise the coilovers, and I think that will eliminate, I'm hoping that will eliminate one of the issues that I'm obviously trying to sort, which is a rubbing coming from the front driver's wheel. I think it's the wheel catching on the arch liner, but I'm not 100% sure. I'll know more obviously once I get under the wheel arch. And then the passenger side rear wheel is making a weird noise. I think it might be something to do with the suspension, so we'll check that out. And at the end of it all, got to get a wheel alignment, so it's just slightly off centre, so we're going to get that sorted. Also, if I sound a bit off, it's because I am still recovering from a bit of a cold, so please forgive me. Straight off, looks like it's been rubbing just on here quite a bit, so obviously that is one of the issues. So I'm going to obviously raise these up, and everywhere else looks okay. So because of how dirty all this is, just going to give it a quick brushing down, and then after I've done that, I'm going to give it a bit of a squirt with some sort of like lubricant, just to try and help the aid of these moving. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to measure a distance sort of there, and then obviously we can move these down, and we'll know then how much we're sort of moving them down. You can do it one of two ways. You can find a point on the top of the hub, which is what I did last time. I sat the what do you call it, ruler, can't make me think, sat my ruler on there and just measured obviously that distance, and then came down so far. Or if you can obviously get this ring to move, you can sort of measure from the bottom of where that is, measure it down, and then obviously that will be the same distance. Okay guys, so I've just got this bottom collar loose, the bottom locking collar, and what I'm going to do is obviously keep that in place, and then twist this top collar, not this, twist this one anti-clockwise, so that way, and that will then obviously raise the coilover up, and then we'll use this one to meet back up to it and lock it in place, and I'll obviously show you what I'm going to do with that. So usually what people will do is mark like that, so you can see how many full rotations you've got, and then obviously you replicate that on the passenger side, the rears and whatnot. Because I've got my ruler with me, I'm gonna obviously put that under there and then raise it up 10mm, and obviously once it gets to the 10mm mark, then I'll use that as my reference point. So spin this and get 2 rotations out of that, actually go around the back, yep, and go like that. And as you see, I'm using my thumb to keep this bottom one in place, so that I don't move that, and then obviously we'll have a good reference point with that. So I'm going to obviously sort this out and I'll get back to you. Okay, so as you can see, I've raised it up 10mm. Like I say, if I put that under there, that actually sits just below the, well, just, you know, on the one. So do that one up. It gets a bit gritty because obviously that's the bit that didn't get squirted. Should have squirted down that way really, put the straw in and done that. So now with the 2 spanners, the smaller one goes on there, the top one, the big one goes on the top, and I'm just going to hold it with the big one and turn the little one to lock it in place. if I can find the, there he is. There we go, that's locked and raised at 10mm. So now do that with passenger side and the rears and we'll be good to go. Right, so we've done obviously both fronts, that's raised up 10mm on both sides. Just come to the rears and I've got both wheels off, as you can see. I also just found out, looking at this sticker, they're prosport coilovers, which as far as I'm aware are cheap budget ones. Could be wrong, let me know in the comments. To adjust these coilovers, I'm pretty sure that you're supposed to, obviously, let's see if I'll show you. I'm sat on the tyre so it's awkward. You got that locking collar there, I'm pretty sure that's supposed to turn around this, which has got a thread on it. Now, as you can see, it's right at the lowest setting. So as I'm turning it, all it's doing, the whole thing's spinning round, even this part with the thread on it. So I'm going to undo this bolt here on both sides, and that should then allow the beam to relax a bit more, come down. I'm going to take that out and have a look, because looking at it, it's actually cracked. I don't know if you'll see it very well on camera, but there, it's cracked. I can get you in closer. There you go, you see that? It's a crack there. So obviously, I think, yeah, looking at the bump stop, I'm trying to show you guys, you know, that bump stop under there looks like it's got a groove in it. See if I can get it through the spoke. Yeah, you can see it just there. That line there looks like where it's been sat in there. So I think it's been bloody bouncing off it, being on the lowest setting and all. So I reckon I'm going to raise these ones up about 15mm. So anyway, undo that bolt on the both sides because these are fully open. That's what we're going to say. So we can take those out, let the beam drop, get those out, and try and adjust them that way. Okay guys, update. Dropping those bolts out obviously did let the beam settle, and I managed to get this one off of there. That one seems to be spinning freely, which is great. Just got to try and loosen this one, because this piece is quite stuck onto this piece. Next step is to free this up, and looking at that side, and looking at this one that I've taken off that's sort of seized, they're set differently. That one's actually set slightly higher. You know, you can see more threads there than you can on that piece. So yeah, let's try and get this done, and then yeah, raise that one up and try and match it to this side. Okay guys, so I've managed to get that free, spinning nice and freely. I've moved it, it was obviously at its lowest setting, so now I've took it up as high as I can, but because of this piece, you know, being bent, I can't take it up any further than that. It won't let me go any further, so that's raised it roughly, you know, 8mm maybe. See if I can take it all the way back down, see what the setting it was on. It was around there, so that's about 2mm. So if we take it all the way back up, see what it's gone up to. I think it said 8, didn't I? It's on 10, so yeah, gone up 8mm. So from obviously the bottom of this to the bottom of there, the difference there is 10mm. So I'm going to make sure it's 10mm on the other side, and then drop it down and see how the car looks now. So that's what I'm going to do now. Throw it back on there. I'll show you in a minute. Right guys, I thought I'd show you, bring you in and show you exactly what it is I've done. So that is set to 10mm, and I've got the jack under there because I'm going to use that to lift it back up. Make sure it seats properly, not like that, like that, and then as we bring it back up, then we can then line this bolt up so that we don't cross thread anything. James and Craig, you know what I'm like. And then obviously that will go in there nicely. Drop that down just a little bit, just like that, and then that will go in there nice and smoothly. We'll do that one up, and we'll take it over there, do the same for that side, and then drop it down. There you can see guys, we're all done. I'm out the garden. The rears do still sit quite low, you know. but unfortunately I can't raise that up anymore because the collar that the ring sat on, I can't lift that up anymore to obviously get the other side up. So unfortunately that's how it is with that one. Like I say, I will try and contact ProSport, see if I can get a new collar, and then I'll be able to raise up that little bit more. Fronts I'm quite happy with. You can sort of get your hand in there, whereas before you were, you know, struggling to get it up that way. So I can just get my hand in there. So some spacers to come, and then that'll sort that. I've got some wings coming. Well, I'm going to pick some wings up, should I say. As you can see there, it's battered. It's from when it was obviously previous owner had it, and it was lowered all the way down. I'll show you this side as well. In fact, I'd probably say that side's probably very slightly higher, so that side maybe can come down slightly. Whether it needs to settle a bit more, I'm not sure. But then obviously rears on this side, yeah, that's good. I'm happy with that, so we can get some spacers out of that one. So guys, there we have it. Car's sorted for today. I forgot to mention the squeaking that I said about the passenger's rear. I didn't find anything. The suspension strut seemed okay, it wasn't leaking like I assumed it might have been, so maybe there's a bush that needs checking. Forgot to check the bushes while I was there. Like I say, if I can order that collar and I can get that collar, then when I take that, obviously the wheel off and stuff to change the collar, I'll have a look at the bushes and stuff like that. It's probably rear beam bushes or something like that. It's just like a little squeak as I'm going over a bump or a bit of adverse camber or something like that. And the driver's front that I said I had an issue with, was rubbing on that piece that I showed you, and it has made it better slightly, but obviously with the spacers that will help even more. I'm going to take it to get a wheel alignment tomorrow. Today is Sunday, so at some point this week anyway I'll get it aligned, and I'll pick the camera back up then, guys. Okay, so only been a couple of seconds, but we are actually forward almost a week. Today's Thursday. I haven't managed to get the car booked in for wheel alignment yet. I want to get obviously spacers and suspension bits sorted before we go get the wheel alignment, because otherwise it's just going to throw it all out and it's going to be for nothing. So jack the car up now, get this suspension bit sorted, throw the spacers on at the same time. I've got some 15s and down there are some 10s, and obviously that's the bigger bolts. So then we've got this, which is the collar that is broke on mine, so obviously I've ordered this one. ProSport sent me out that quick time, so massive thanks to them. So yeah, jack the car up. It's a lovely day, but it's windy as hell, so I'm probably not going to be able to have you out there too much, because you probably won't hear what I'm saying from the wind. But anyway, let's get cracking. So I hope you can hear me from the wind, but I just thought I'd show you how that sits, and obviously this side's the same, so hopefully we'll be able to compare afterwards. Show you the fronts as well. Currently tucked away in there, and then tucked away. Can't really see that with the shadow, can you? As you can see, we've got that one out. I was going to take this one out and then match it to this, or match this one to that rather, but this bottom bit isn't coming out, so all I'm going to do is just twist this one, because it's obviously able to twist, and I'm going to put it level with the top of the collar. So obviously at the moment it's wound down, isn't it, like that. That one's wound down, so I'm going to wind this one so it's flush, and I'll measure this gap here, and then I'm going to raise this one up, and then I'll measure the gap obviously in there as well, just to make sure it is all the same. So then obviously this will be raised up that little bit more. So we have now set this one to the same as that. It's the same. The gap where my thumb is 17mm. So obviously I had my ruler in there, 17mm from the top of that to the underside of here. So obviously I've put this flush on the top, and it's 17mm as well. So this one can now go on over there, put it together, and we'll be good. Right, the wheel spacers are on, and it is very, very slightly pokey out. So when we drop the car down, I'm going to have to be extremely careful to watch this, lower it down slowly, and hope that that doesn't connect with that, and I hope that I've lifted it up enough then to clear it. Otherwise, it's going to be buggering my arches. So it's I'm going to put the other side on, then we'll drop it down and I'll be able to show you what's what. Right guys, I'll set you up there. Wish me luck. Hopefully that doesn't catch. I'd say that it's pretty damn good. There's enough of a gap there, isn't there? So it's brought it out nicely. Nice 10mm for the back. So I did have the 10s on the back because I was worried about the arch catching the wheel as it came back down. There's actually enough room. I've obviously raised it enough with that new collar. I mean, it could go down a smidgen, but for what it is, I'm not going to bother. So 15s are now on the rear, 10s are on the front. So obviously the gap that was there is a lot less, obviously because it's got the spacers. It sits very, very flush. It probably will sit a little bit better once I've had the wheel alignment, which I'll be getting booked in probably for next week now. I'll show you the other rear so you can get a good comparison of how it is. And there we go. That's that last one. Well, there we have it guys. That is the wheel spacers and the suspension fix and the coilovers raised. So all in all, pretty happy with that. Like I say, ProSport got back to me quick time with emails and that part was sent out very, very quickly. Very happy with the spacers. It helps the car look a little bit more, I don't want to say complete, but you know, it helps a lot, doesn't it? So obviously we're happy with those. Please, if you can guys, if you've watched this video and you've got this far, please go and have a look at my last video. It was done for a good cause, and although it has a sad nature behind it, it would mean a lot if I can get the views for it, because I'll be donating all the ad revenue I make on that video to the charity. So please go and check that out. I'll leave a link in the top corner for you, so you can watch that. I'll be very, very grateful. It's now starting to rain, so it's hailing actually. It's time for me to head inside. Thank you very much for watching guys, and I will see you next time.